I believe we are now live. Hello, everyone, and good evening. Thank you very much for being here with us. It's our Cybersecurity Awareness Month webinar or webcast with our instructor. Next to me is sitting Roy Schaub. Roy Schaub is IT security engineer in Switzerland. Hello, everyone. Good evening. And Roy is going to talk. Roy is going to talk about his experience as an engineer. Also, Roy has visited our cybersecurity specialist course and he passed the federal exam. He has a diploma from state secretary. In the same time, Roy is also our instructor. And Roy, welcome. And it's our office. It's evening time. I hope we will have a casual talk today, webcast style talk. And I have some question for you. And hopefully our audience also will use Q&A button to send us the question. Please see the Q&A button at the bottom of your windows, and you can write your questions there and send us. And we are also live in YouTube. You can also watch us through the YouTube. And this session is recorded. We will publish the recording later on if you pass part of the webinar or webcast. And yeah, we will be very happy to see your questions. So, Roy, welcome. We have a nice setup here, and we will keep this session like half an hour, 40 minutes, 45 minutes, and I will ask my questions, and I would like to get your answers for my questions. First of all, would you like to introduce yourself? I just made a short intro, but I would like us to hear from you.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me, Samir. As you already mentioned, I am IT security engineer and tutor for two different classes at the Swiss Cyber Institute, and I'm very happy to be part of the webcast today. And I'm very looking forward to all your questions you may be having.
Crazy. Thanks a lot for being with us, Roy. And yeah, how did you start your career? Why did you decide to work in IT field? What was the inspiration for you to pursue your career in IT security as well? I believe you started as a IT specialist and you decided to do a security course on top of it and start to work IT security engineer.
Yeah, so I started in 2015 as the apprenticeship for system engineer at the big hospital. And yeah, I really liked it from the start on. But after graduating that one and then working in different kinds of companies, some smaller, some bigger, I thought maybe it's time for a little change because it was not quite as interesting for me, even though let's call it general IT is not boring, but
Yes,
I was searching for something a little bit bigger. And then I somewhat stumbled over IT security. Saw the course on Swiss Cyber Institute. It was fully remote, so I thought, yeah, why not?
Do you like it?
Yes. From then on.
From day one, you start to like it. And I would like to ask the certain moments that you had already. Is there any particular moments or experience that confirmed IT security was the right field for you? You said that yes, for that, I did a good decision. Now I'm good for it and I'm ready for it, and that will my entire life career.
Yeah, first of all, I was let off during my studies because the company had to reduce some positions. Meanwhile, I was searching for system engineer positions, but I had an awesome recruiter on my side.
Yes.
Who pushed me into searching for a security job before even graduating the federal diploma.
Yes.
And I got a job. So that was already a big milestone. And I knew I was definitely right in the field when I was sitting at the exam in Bern.
And do you have any other certification already, further the education before you did your federal exam as a cybersecurity specialist?
Not in the security field.
Okay.
I got the federal diploma, Swiss federal diploma as a system engineer.
As a system engineer, but it was still was related to IT field or the ICT field, let's say so.
4 years system engineer apprenticeship that you can do.
Perfect. And since more than 1 year, you work as an IT security engineer, let's say so. What does a typical day look like for you as an engineer? When you wake up, when do you wake up? Do you sleep well, actually?
Yeah, it's depending on the client I'm having at that day,
Yeah,
or if I'm at home or in the office of the client.
yeah.
Because at the moment I'm like switching between two different kinds of clients, completely different. One is a big television company. There I can do full on home office. So I'm getting up at 7:25 and 7:30 I'm starting
Mm-hmm.
usually. And when I have to go to the office for the other client in the near the how's it called? Yeah, it's part of the Swiss
Let's say so. You wake up and you start with checking your emails or with checking your the softwares that you use. And how do you start your day to work as an engineer?
get up, get your coffee,
Mm-hmm.
read all your emails.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily enough, I don't get that many emails.
Mm-hmm.
And then, depending on what the task is, on one side, I'm doing firewall checkups for
Yes.
one client, implementing new rules, like basic, somewhat firewall engineer. And on the other one, I'm currently doing upgrades from one firewall vendor to another.
Do you have a team member who supports you, or do you have a supervisor whom you can ask in case you have a challenge or difficulties at the work?
Yeah, so at the company I'm working, it's amazing to work there,
Mm-hmm.
and everyone is responding in about 5 minutes. Not at 7:30, but at 8:30 definitely. Everyone
Mm-hmm.
is ready to get you an answer. And I met a cool guy there. He's much older than I am,
Mm-hmm.
and he is doing IT security for the past 30 years.
Yes.
And he is kind of my mentor at the moment and doing everything like guiding me through different kinds of difficulties.
So that means that you set up all the firewalls, you try also to understand the attack vectors, cyber intelligence. What are the common challenges for you as an engineer when you start newly or now? What were the main challenges, let's say at the beginning, to understand the technology, to understand the attack vectors, or to combine them together?
Most likely the different kinds of bureaucracies and like how everything is working technically,
Mm-hmm.
basically. Because around the attack vectors, you're getting all the information online, and a lot was already covered from FICRAT during the CSS. So there was already a big part covered, and the mindset was already there. But the mindset, like working in that environment, is then just slightly different than working as a system engineer.
So as I understand that what you learned at cybersecurity specialist course at Swiss Cyber help you to understand the attack vectors, all the techniques, tactics, and methods that you might use it. But did you also spend time on self-studies, self-research? Because this is one of the main tasks of the security professionals.
Yeah, I've done really, really lot because I also already had that experience from as working as a system engineer and during the apprenticeship. Google is your best friend, let's say it like
Yeah,
that. And in IT security, it's nothing different than that.
good. And today you have already more than 1 year experience as an engineer, security engineer. When you look at back to 1 year back, and what was the biggest challenge for you that you already solved today? You say, yes, I did it.
Breaking into that field
Okay.
and like applying for security jobs, even though I was not that long in IT, and I never worked in security, so it came in very handy for me to already make the transition before I even graduated in the end.
Okay, great. And I would like to ask a little bit about skills and qualification for our attendees who are joining here. What are the key technical skills that an engineer needs to succeed? Technical skills, tools, and all the topics that you learned. Would you like to just list them for us?
It's hard to list all of them,
Yeah.
but definitely starting with knowing the inner deep of Windows, knowing the inner deep of Linux, knowing the inner deep of macOS, even though it's Linux, but slightly different. Knowing a lot about internet or about networks, internal and external. General overview of firewall and how is a firewall working is definitely very handy. Some advanced knowledge about emails, websites, not generally how to build them, but knowing how to build a website will also help you to protect it.
So you need to understand how the website technology is working.
Yeah.
You need to understand how the software technology is working and how to set up all this security or perimeters for those different technologies, right? That's important. And that will be handy for people that they want to work as an engineer. But what about the soft skills like communication, leadership? That was also part of the program. You learned a lot from the professor, Marcus Norris. Which kind of soft skills you have or you developed during this 1 year?
Communication is definitely key. Also talking to stakeholders or the ones who have the money is in the end very important, because in certain areas security is probably still overlooked and not the main checkbox for spending your money, even though it's spent wisely.
Yes.
And yeah, team leadership came in very handy because I got promoted as some sort of a team leader at one of our clients, where I'm managing at the moment 3 guys.
Okay, so team leadership communication is important. Whom you communicate in your daily work? Your team members, I understand, your supervisor, and do you also communicate to the client that they are not technical people, but they have to know what's going on in their system and what are the developments and updates that you provide to them?
Currently not, but last year I was working at a project. There was a lot of communication with, let's say, less skilled people, or people who got the IT background,
Non-technical.
but not that deep into the security field. And I guess when it's coming to IT and then IT security, we are already like talking the same language. Slightly different words, but in the end, it's somewhat similar.
At the course, you learn several communication methods, and some of them would be very handy for you. Which methods or tactics you use for the communication?
That's an amazing question. I wasn't able to answer that during the federal exam, so I can't answer that.
Okay, good. And what are the certification or qualification do you consider most valuable for someone who wants to enter the field? From where they have to start? What's the entering point to the security field?
Depending on which part of security you are interested in. If it is like security engineer, same like I'm doing, I guess the most valuable thing is know your IT stuff. Before you don't know how it is working, you're not able to protect it.
Yeah.
Because you can't protect what you don't know.
Yes.
Let's say it like that.
Yes.
But if you are like more focused going to GRC or advisory, I'm sure other kinds of backgrounds are also coming in very handy. Like you got a master in law, right?
Yes.
So that's also
sectors. Yeah, I know what you mean. But if I zoom out a little bit, why do we need security actually? For what?
To protect, in the end, to protect our life
Perfect.
online.
Mhm. But it's included data, applications, endpoints, perimeters, network,
Everything.
critical infrastructure, or at the end, mission critical assets of the organizations. And what are the most critical? If you say that if the company is losing their control over this asset, or they don't have an access it, or they have unauthorized access to the system, which was the most critical for the organization? If they lose the control over it, then maybe they have to bankrupt.
I guess the most critical one is the one who is making the company what it is doing.
Mhm.
Pharmaceutical company, somewhat of documents about how somewhat of a medicine is created.
Patent data, let's say.
Like 24andMe was hacked a year ago, a few
Yes.
months ago, and we or a lot of people sent their personal identifiable information there, not only for figuring out who is maybe a unknown relative, but also it was somewhat helpful for law enforcement and so on. And getting that into the wrong hands is very critical.
Yep. What's the starting point in cybersecurity? If, let's say, I have no experience, but I would like to really work in cybersecurity because I hear a lot of jobs, a lot of the noise around it. What's the first step? What I have to do? Shall I start with Linux? Shall I start with computer science, or just do AI maybe? What's your point on it?
I would say definitely not AI, but AI will come in handy in the future. And it can help you learn everything or learn a lot, but it's not the perfect solution to start. I would recommend Linux, Windows, just regular desktop environment.
Yes,
Because
like IT help desk stuff.
because in IT help desk, you are already learning not only like how a program is installed, but where is it installed, why is it installed there, and you will figure out, for example, if you're installing Office, it will be installed and it will be running under, or if you're opening the CMD, it will run under a certain process.
Yes.
And in the future, you have to know that. Because if the Office is not running there, maybe it's not the real Office you were looking for.
Yes. Okay. Good. That means that to start, in order to enter the cybersecurity field, you need to start like IT support field to understand the ecosystem, to understand the objects. Then you put security skills on top of it, that you know what you have to protect. That's a good point. Is there any starting point certification program that people also can understand the overall, what's all about cybersecurity, the risk management, how the internet is working, network is working, what's the security principles?
ISACA has one of these, like, I guess it's 5 different kinds of courses where you can start and get
ITCA course, like computing fundamentals, network, yeah.
That's already a great starting point. And then the federal diploma, or not federal diploma, but EFZ.
EFZ, yes.
System engineer, application engineer, and
are they easy to learn and to pass the exam?
Yes and no. They are different than the federal diploma. Mine was 10 days, entire exam, and I had to prepare an entire network, just a small one, 2 computers, VPN gateway, 1 printer, and 1 server.
Yeah.
But you got 10 days, 5 days of executing, and 5 days of documentation, and then you will have a presentation about it.
Okay, you need to prepare and present it.
Yes, already great starting point. But it's taking 4 years.
You need to do it 4 years in order to pass AFT. Oh, great. But with us, you just studied 2 semester, I believe. Or
Three.
3 semester. Okay, you joined the 18 months program. How was this preparation period? When you started, you were super excited. I remember the first days. How did well later on? How was it? How was the learning process? How many hours you had to spend on it, on the program that we delivered to you?
During the entire time, I was not spending that much time on it.
Why? How did you pass the exam then?
No, I've come. The first things, or the first 1.25 years,
Mhm.
pretty easy. And in the last 2 months, I was then studying from 8 o'clock until 2 in the morning every day.
Okay.
And then I went to the exam.
But we don't really advise this.
No, I don't do it.
That you need to really spend time on your weekly education that you don't have stress before the exam. Otherwise, it might be very stressful. You might be sick. You might miss this opportunity not to pass the exam. And what was your technique to learn all this hacking lab stuff, challenges assignments that we gave to you? You had to spend a lot of time in a lab environment or self-study or to watch demand videos that we gave, the recordings that we gave to you.
Depending on the lecture,
Mhm.
or at least for me, it was really depending on the lecture. For some, it was a lot easier to follow, and following Fikrat is not always easy because he is very technical and very skilled. So I had to watch the recordings twice,
Okay.
3 times, 4 times,
Okay.
because he's going fast.
Yes.
But in the end, if you don't know it, you will know it after you have watched it.
Mhm.
Maybe sometimes it was myself because I was not concentrated enough, but in the end, watching it over and over again, testing it in the hacking lab.
That means that it was handy that we record all the session and we give access to our students that they can rewatch it because it's technical. You are right. If you miss even half an hour part of it, then you might miss entire
Yeah.
learning process.
Yeah, and it also helped sometimes when we had to do an investigation. Searching that up in Google is not always easy. It got easier with AI, but it was not always easy. And then getting somewhat of inspiration from what Fikrat did helped a lot. And therefore, the reporting was the best thing that could happen.
Cool. And we had also IT project management part, all the business administration. What was How was those session for you? It was fun or it was really difficult to understand? Or do you think that security engineers also should understand how the business is working, all the administration stuff that's necessary for them, or in which level or after how many years you will use those skills that you learned?
I guess you will need it immediately because you will, from beginning on, it's about money.
Yes.
And security is, let's say it's always about money. And therefore, it will help you from the beginning. And for me, it was quite fun. I didn't think it was boring. I had other students, they didn't like, or colleagues at that time, they didn't like it that much because they are more the technical and hands-on guy.
Yes.
But I really liked it because I knew it will come in handy afterwards. It's not a master in business administration,
Of
but
course.
the general overview already perfect. Or the depth of what we are learning there, perfect.
So I would like to remind our audience, please use Q&A button to send your specific question to Roy, if you have any, and I will be very happy to read them. We have already several questions, but I will ask them after 10, 15 minutes once I finish my questions. Please feel free to send your questions, and we are here, I would say, around 10, 15, 20 minutes more. It's already the half an hour that we are live. And let me go to my following questions about the industry trends. You have a role of the IT security engineer, and evolves with the different changes in the market. Your work is also changing what we are seeing. What are the current cybersecurity landscape? How do you see the cybersecurity right now? Where we go to? What's the direction? It is in more straight to the hell, or we have a little bit a bright future in cyber field?
I guess it won't be that bright, but of course we are trying our best every day. And there were difficulties and opportunities added with AI. It's good and bad at the same time.
Yeah. What are the current trends right now? The attack vector. Which kind of attacks are really in high level in Switzerland or in your work environment?
In the work environment, it's mostly DDoS attacks.
DDoS, okay.
And
are they coming from outside or inside the country, or can you track them, or?
I can track them, and there were some that were from the inside, but there were definitely some from the outside.
Yeah.
But I can't really tell you more about
Yeah,
that
I can
part.
imagine. What are the motivation behind those DDoS attacks? What they want to achieve?
Disrupt the service that has to be delivered or that is intended to be delivered
Yes.
for whatever purpose
Yes.
in the end.
What they will get if they disrupt the services, and are they demanding later on money, or they have another ideological or political motivation behind it?
What I experienced, like the last 1.5 years, like on that part, it was politically motivated.
Okay.
Not necessarily financial, but yeah, somewhat financial in the end also, but mainly motivated.
Have you experienced any the ransomware attack until today to deal with the ransomware groups, or kind of maybe negotiate or just have a contact to them?
Not in that company, but
Okay.
I worked in another company before. I was not a security engineer there, but still there was a company that got hacked twice in 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks, twice. Okay, cool.
And
tell me more.
Same woman, same email, and she clicked it twice in 2 weeks. And I'm not making any jokes. And they went offline for around a month.
Wow, that means that 1 month offline or 1 month not operating, the company can lose a lot of money, and the phishing email created by same person within 2 weeks, and the company hacked because of that. That's a very interesting case. And do you think that the awareness training, or the cyber culture or security culture is important for people, that they understand they have not click, or they have to identify those kind of attacks?
Yeah, in the end, I guess the most vulnerable part in the entire IT ecosystem is the human. Because we can make things wrong.
Yes.
The computer is doing what he is intended or built to do.
Yes.
But we are vulnerable. We can get tricked by phone, by email, whatever.
And that's a good point. But don't you think that not only humans are the weakest chain in the security, but also management? If the management doesn't want to really support the cyber culture, to give the proper training, to give the overview, the increase awareness in the company, at the end of the day, just figure out that you did it, you're a poor woman or the poor guy, you name it, because of you, we are hacked. Do you think management should also change this mindset a little bit?
In the end, as it's going down like the waterfall, if management is not living it, the average person will not do it.
Yeah.
So it's probably the biggest team sport we can ever play.
Yeah, that's a good point.
We have to play it.
Yeah. biggest team sport. I liked it. And what trends do you foresee shaping the future of the IT security in the next few years? What are the next trends?
I guess AI still, as it is like for the past 2 years, it will stay. It will bring us cool and great new things, but it will also, in some sort, create some chaos. And the next thing will be, I'm sure one day quantum computers will be a thing.
Okay, yeah. AI and quantum computing. Good point.
I'm sure they will.
Yes, it's coming. It's coming, and it will change our entire ecosystem and entire the mindset,
Yeah.
the encryption. We see. Good. Then I'd like to talk a little bit about work-life balance and the challenges. We know that cybersecurity is not easy field, and there is high pressure. How many hours do you work per day?
It's depending, but let's say 8.5 hours are definitely full
Yeah.
every day, and something between 10 and 12 usually.
Okay, that's
But-
too much.
But that's my own decision, not my. I don't have to do it.
That's already a lot. And how do you balance this work life? And is there any challenge to do it?
It just needs proper planning in the end. Of course, you have or you're losing time with different kinds of like maybe family members or friends. Maybe you're not able to study that much like as you would usually do, but it's manageable. I'm getting up usually 5:50, going to the gym, starting 7:30. If I need to go to the office for a client, I'm going to the gym in the evening.
Yes.
But for me, starting in the morning, going to the gym and drinking my
How many
coffee
times per week do you go to the gym?
3 to 5 times.
Oh, that's a lot. That
Yeah.
means that you have already good time to manage, or you manage your time very well.
Yeah, I try my best, but of course, and maybe that's my problem, and maybe that will be a problem or can be a problem for future security or guys that are interested. I'm getting up and my first YouTube video or somewhat of a webinar is starting at 6. I'm arriving at the gym, going on the treadmill and watching whatever.
What would you advise to the new starters or who wants to enter this field? Top 3 advice that they can start to think about how to balance their work and life. Top 3 advice.
Get a good mentor who's able to send you home in the evening.
Yes, very good.
Try to take your weekends off, or at least one day in the week.
Not to work.
Yeah. Like not only not work, but don't
Open your laptop.
Don't open your laptop. Don't go on LinkedIn and don't go on Try Hack Me. Don't go on whatever site you can figure out.
Yeah, nice.
And don't subscribe for any newsletter where they are telling you who got breached in the last 25 seconds because it will drive you nuts.
Okay. Good point. Thanks a lot. Can you share some example of particularly complex security issues or the issues that you had and you solved them? And what was your approach to the problem? You have a problem, you need to solve it. What was your approach to think differently, to have different methods, tactics?
For me, the easiest thing is to get a proper picture of what is actually in front of me. Always doing like that step back and figuring out what is involved, like which team is involved, which software, which hardware, like laying out a map and figuring out what is going on. helped me a lot, and I'm trying to do, or I'm doing that also for the future, because only then I'm able to figure out maybe where the breach happened, or after that I can then check the logs. It happened then and then, and there it's moved to another computer.
Yeah. And when you try to solve the problem, you need to communicate, of course, with other team members or your supervisor or customer. And is it difficult for a technical person to talk non-technical language? Because you understand the problem, you need to transfer it to non-technical language.
Yeah.
Is it difficult task? If yes, why? If not, which kind of techniques or tactics you use that you just rephrased all this the technical reports to the management?
It depending on the person. For me, it's quite easy because I trained that for years and years, like explaining my iPhone to my grandmother is already a challenge, but you have to dedicate, you have to take your time, you have to try it again and again and again, and that's the only way in the end to do it properly.
Yeah.
You have to kind of live it to talk to someone who is not technically that deeply involved.
Perfect. Good. I believe you are good with questions, and we have some additional questions here, and I would like to read them for you.
Yes, please.
The first question is all about ISO 27001. How about implementing and auditing an ISO 27001 information security management system with your customers? Do you implement ISO certifications with customers, or do you follow up all the requirements, or do you have any another industry standards like NIST or ENIS or Swiss standards that you have to follow?
Of course, we got the Swiss standards, but we also, or the company I'm working for, also got audits for ISO 27001. But it's not like that deeply my field at the moment. But maybe one day I'm getting into auditing.
Okay, cool.
So
Next challenge.
Yeah, I'm trying my best to figure out something new.
Why not? Why not? And another question, can you share more light on which program was it? I don't know which the question, the program, but we will come back to you. I have another question. Which films, the movies, would you like to advise to watch the like kind of real scenarios? Well, most probably in cyber field.
Everyone is talking about Password Swordfish and how is it called? Pretty new series on Paramount, I guess. Very famous one, but I can't remember.
Who am I?
No, not Who Am I? Another one.
I'm a robot.
Yeah, I'm a robot.
Perfect.
I started watching the first episode.
Yeah.
But afterwards, I gave up.
Yeah, it's also interesting. It was very interesting. I just got feedback from our attendees. You talk about a school.
Yeah.
Most probably it is about cybersecurity specialist program. I would like to give a very short intro. This program is designed to prepare attendees for federal exam, that you pass the exam and you get your professional bachelor degree from the state secretary as a cybersecurity specialist. And this program is like 12 or 18 months program, deep dive, technical, a lot of challenges, a lot of technical learnings there. And part of the program also we teach leadership, communication skills, business administration, and the project management skills. And we have each year around 40 to 50 students. They go to the federal exam through the Swiss Cyber Institute, and they have a good success rate at the federal exam. It's like fast track to get your bachelor diploma as a cybersecurity specialist, and that opens a lot of door for the certificate holders in the Swiss market to find a job or to get a promotion, to get a better salary. That was all. And there's another question regarding the podcasts. You just mentioned podcasts or webinars you listen before you go to the gym or do the gym on treadmill. Which kind of podcast do you listen?
All different kinds, but mostly somewhat security related, or I'm sometimes legally transferring them into a podcast because I'm just not watching it on YouTube in the end and just listening to it. And there are very great guys online.
Would you name some of them that our attendees also maybe can follow up?
I'm very bad at the names. John Hammond,
John Hammond? Okay.
he's, I guess, very famous, and he's doing cool stuff. David Bombal is also explaining a lot of things.
Yeah.
Sometimes a little bit too much of advertising, but
Yeah.
in the end, very cool. And the other guy, there's another one, very cool guy, but I figured it out, but I can't remember.
Maybe you can later on make a comment under the YouTube video, all these names, right, to help our attendees. Or maybe you can even tag their YouTube channels.
I can do that. Yeah, he's Azure guy,
Perfect.
talking a lot about Azure.
Cool. Another question. First question is, what is the most dangerous and harmful attack which you have faced so far? How did you manage to overcome? That's the first question. Please answer, then I will read second one.
Depending on what you are describing as dangerous.
Severe, let's say severe that you say, wow, oh my gosh.
Yeah, probably still the company that got hacked twice by the same woman who clicked the email.
Okay.
In the end, it was manually getting everything back from the backup. Luckily, they had one backup tape from 4 months ago that was sitting in a Trezor.
Yes.
And the second time, we were very lucky because then, as probably always, or as the book is describing it, they spent a lot of money to prepare for future cyber attacks. But the company I was working for was not able to deliver that fast, like in between 2 weeks, from zero to everything. That's just not possible.
So that means that the hackers were the same group, that they used the same method, same tactics to hack twice?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
There was just everything was encrypted, and please read me file on the desktop. That's my Bitcoin address. Please pay it.
How much?
It was not that much.
Okay, did they pay?
25, 30K. It was not that
Okay,
much.
did they pay?
Yes, the second time they paid.
But did they consult also Cantonal Police, or Melanie or National Cybersecurity Center to inform them? Maybe they get the help from them now?
Guess not.
Okay.
It was just they paid it and it was done.
Okay.
But that it was one of the, like, let's say, unserious hacking groups.
Okay.
They didn't release anything.
Oh.
They took the money and they went away.
And what was then what they have done? They have to rebuild everything from zero?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
4 weeks of rebuilding computers, servers, network, everything.
Crazy.
Installing every email account on.
It's really not fun, and you lose money, you lose time, you lose operation, and end of the day, it's huge financial risk.
Yeah.
Let me read the second question from our attendees. The second, what kind of attacks are cyber security interests are facing mostly? Thank you in advance for your answers. What kind of attacks we see the most in Switzerland?
Mostly on companies, of course. Getting ransom from the data hostage. And on the other side, definitely also like sextortion, voice smishing, phishing,
SEO fraud.
yeah,
phishing attacks.
Yeah. That's
Mhm.
one, I guess, one of the biggest things.
Social engineering,
Social
Yeah.
engineering is very big, and like also
malwares. Yeah. Cool. And thank you very much, Roy. And thanks for the questions. Great questions. We have another questions. Do you know good resource and certification to get into app security, meaning to get expertise for a job that is not so low level at network firewall level, but higher up to the web architecture and web development level? Most probably, our attendee is asking about web secure or secure coding or secure software development courses.
like for, let's say, for Kubernetes, there are different kinds of certifications you can do. Then CCSP for the entire cloud, but like really code related.
Okay. There is not so much code related courses actually in the market, but CCSP could be good start point to start with cloud security and some the online course that you might see as a software developer, software development courses, especially language specific like CC++, PHP security, Python security, and some of them are part of our cybersecurity specialist course, but it's just part of it. Yeah, that's my advice for our
It's
attendee.
a pretty hard question, as I'm not in like really deep into the application security. But
One of our students who are just taking right now cybersecurity specialist course, he's asking how easy it was to find a job after cybersecurity specialist certification. Now you are certificate holder. Was it easy to get job immediately?
let's say yes, it was. Yeah, it was very easy.
Okay, cool. I mean, that's kind of door opener, right, in the market. Do you think that HRs, they understand what does it mean, cybersecurity specialist, Swiss federal diploma?
Yes, they do know what it is,
Mhm.
but all the requirements are mostly some other language we are not understanding that.
Okay.
So it's there should be a course for how to hire someone like starting in security or someone in security. But the federal diploma was, of course, a door opener, and I got my job even though I wasn't
During
even.
the course, right? That's great, great. So we have another question. We are getting a lot of questions right now. We are coming to the end of our events. Last 10 minutes, I would say. Please send your final questions, and we will be very happy to answer them before we leave the session. See, if I enroll for PhD in computer science at the University of St. Gallen, where I work, do I get to study cybersecurity course similar to your program? I believe this question is to me. If you do PhD in computer science, of course, you will become academic in a computer science field. That will help you to do research, to publish your academic papers, but less technical, less practical. It might be very good completion, very good the add-on on your PhD degree to the cybersecurity specialist course that you will learn only technical hands-on education, right? With one hand, you will have the PhD degree, you will be doctor of cyber computer science. With another hand, you will learn hands-on cybersecurity technical tools and techniques, tactics that you can work as an engineer in the field. You can become a doctor, you can become an engineer. That's a very good combination because they are completing to each other. One is the theoretical part with academical education. The other one is the hands-on technical, practical education that will help you tomorrow to sit down in the Security Operations Center and start to work as an engineer. I hope that question helps you, but I will be very happy to assist you further. In case you have further question, please call us or visit our the beautiful office here. We can have a coffee and discuss about it because I also work at the University of St. Gallen. I do also right now doctoral research in the AI field and leading the institute here. and it will be my great pleasure to assist you. We have question video from your colleague from the course, the Robert, on the topic of how easy to get a job after they getting the cybersecurity specialist diploma, because Joe Robert got also his diploma. Personally, Robert is writing the personal. I applied 2 jobs and got an offer for the boss, the latter of which I accept. But of course, your mileage may vary as always.
Sure.
So happy to hear that. Robert also visited our course. He passed the exam and he applied 2 jobs and he got an offer from both of them. This is great, great success, Robert. Maybe we do another webcast with you later on. Just text me on WhatsApp or per email, and let's organize another nice webcast with you. Thanks, Robert. Any other question? Right now we have the final questions. Final question: where do you see yourself in 5 years? This is kind of HR question, but what's your career plan in 5 years?
But how old are you? Maybe I'm sitting then on the other side. No, it's not that easy to tell right now,
Yeah.
but I'm somewhat going to move into the GRC field, most likely.
What's the GRC? Please, can you explain?
Governance, risk, and compliance,
Yeah.
and doing more like the security advisory
Mm-hmm.
parts.
Yeah.
Maybe starting my own company, doing security. I'm definitely staying here at the Swiss Cyber Institute.
Great. Great to have you as a lecturer that you can really guide the new starters who wants to start a career. You are a great example for many young people. What about AI? You don't want to learn AI?
No, I learn AI, of course. I
Mhm.
also used AI during the exam,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah.
it is sometimes, I think it's not necessary to use AI,
Mm-hmm.
because just because we are slapping AI into Ricardo and eBay,
Mm-hmm.
it's not meant to be beneficial.
Okay.
But there are great opportunities that we will have and that we are going to somewhat use in the AI field, and I'm very happy to be part of it. Of course.
Perfect. Cool. So that's all, I believe. First of all, I would like to thank our attendees. We have a lot of attendees they joined, most of the registered attendees. And thanks a lot for your time. It's evening time. I know you might have a dinner, you might spend your time with your family, but you stayed here with us and you listened, you asked the questions, and thanks a lot to Roy that you came all the way to our office, and we have a great chat. I liked it. I like the video setup here, the sound system here, and we will publish the video later on this webcast on the YouTube, and we will also inform you. Actually, it will be published automatic because it's like live streamed in the YouTube. And yeah, thanks a lot, and wishing you all the best in your career, in future career, and we will be very happy to see you again at our programs. Maybe we do another webcast next year to analyze what happened last 1 year. And yeah, and have a nice evening. Thank you very much, Roy. Thank you very much, our attendees. Stay safe.
Thank you very much, Samir, and thank you very much for everyone who was listening.
Yeah.
It was a pleasure to be here, and
Great.
let's make cybersecurity great again.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Perfect. Cool. Bye, everyone. Have a nice